Tried to go live earlier. Didn't work. So I can't figure it out. That's fine. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I also have 38 subscribers, so I'm not really sweating it because, grand scheme of things, I'm basically screaming into the void. It's been a couple of days now since Doug didn't show up for a live. Doug runs a channel called Dazed But Not Confused. And Doug has quite a number of followers. Not in the cult sense, I would hope, but you can't really tell, can you? Because the way that some people were reacting, it's like they actually were in a cult. And they were being culty about Doug. Doug doesn't want to be anybody's guru, guys. Hey, Rob. Yes, back on the train heading south. Say hi to New Orleans for me. It's people got really culty. People got really creepy about what they were doing. And the day after Doug didn't show up, that would be yesterday, some of the things that I saw in his chat that was still going was scary AF. And it's not cool. It's not cool. The way that some people chose to invade his privacy, that some people way overstepped their boundaries, and some people chose to overinflate the relationship that they have with him. Not cool. Not okay. Simply not okay. The fact that they chose to, number one, go straight to psych wards and arrest records for the LAPD, that's messed up on a number of different levels. Number one, what does it say about the esteem in which you hold him that the first place you think to look is the psych ward? What does it say about how you find his level of stability? What does it say that you went straight to the cops checking arrest records? What does that say, again, about the esteem in which you hold him, the level of stability that you think he has? And, there's just, if you didn't show up for an appointment, a loose appointment where, say, a bunch of you were gathering for lunch, and you said, yeah, I'm going to be there, and you didn't show up. Something came up. Maybe you just decided to go away for a while. Maybe you'd been processing some shit and you needed to process it in private. What does it say if your friends go, oh, well, it's been about 16 hours since that lunch. We should check the psych ward. And we should check to see if you've been arrested. Is that immediately where you go? How about getting some people who'd never met you to do some research on the internet and then try to figure out where you lived and go and knock on your door? Is that creepy? Think that'd be creepy? I think it's a little creepy. So there's that. There's the fact that there were people in his chat, not going to name names, but I could, and y'all know who you are, who were telling everybody to shush, who were saying that everybody who said anything that they didn't agree with must be trolls, who were trying to use triangulation to pit the mods against each other. And they suddenly, for a little while, decided that they were going to respond to everything with, "We love Doug." How old are you? And I'm not saying that in an I'm older than you, or I'm younger than you, or anything else like that. This has nothing to do with any kind of age hierarchy, and it has everything to do with maturity-wise, emotionally. Are you 5? Because you're acting like it. And I swing a wrench for Doug. And I go by his guidelines in his chat. When I'm in there, I'm following his rules that he set. I don't boot. I don't mute. I don't time out. It has to be extremely egregious in order for me to do that. And even then, he says, "You know what? Leave them up. Maybe I'll put the whatever comment it is on blast. Maybe I'll put it on the screen and have at him myself." Okay. Your feed, your rules. My feed, my rules. It ain't going to be that pretty here. So, if you feel attacked because that's the kind of behavior that you were engaging in, then maybe you should feel attacked, and maybe you should reflect on your behavior. I don't think that anybody out in audience land, any of the people who live inside your computer, owe you anything. I don't owe you anything. You don't owe me anything. I ask for basic common decency. I ask for people not to be rude. The rudeness that I've seen in that chat over the last 24 hours, the last 48 hours now, has been nauseating. It really has. And y'all are supposed to be grown-ass adults. Doug is a grown-ass adult. He has a job. He has a life. He has family. And he's also been doing a lot of really heavy content lately. I know that in his last little collab with Bryce from Esoteric Atlanta, she asked how he was doing, and he said, "You know, it may seem like I'm really overloaded and that I'm not a super happy guy, but actually I really am. I really am a happy guy, and I'm doing okay." So, you know, the fact that some of you must have watched that and said, "Oh, well, we're going to the psych ward first." What's up with that? You're not going to believe what comes out of the man's mouth at the same time while you hang on his every word? Why? Because again, he doesn't owe you anything. He owes you nothing. I owe you nothing. You owe me nothing. If we're all here to support Doug, And we're all here as never ends to hold space for Doug and the trauma that he's gone through and the trauma that all of the X community has gone through. And I'm not just talking about Scientology. I'm talking about LDS. I'm talking about any high control religion, any high demand group, any place where coercive control is being used, any place where undue influence is being exercised. All of those people who've come out of that have trauma that they're processing. All of those people who aren't quite out of it yet, but are dipping their toes in the water, have trauma that they're processing. And if we're going to be here to support them and to hold space for them, then we also have to be able to give them space. And I don't feel like people are being willing to give Doug space. I don't feel that people were willing to give Alex space when he fell asleep, because he's been known to be on awake benders for days at a time, and then he crashes out. Alex also missed alive, and people went to the extreme of calling the police to his home for a wellness check, and that's messed up. Alex doesn't have anywhere near the discussion of the mental health challenges that Doug experienced. And, you know, it's not a trauma contest. I got that. But Doug's he's been through some shit. And a lot of people who are also YouTube creators have been through some shit. Yet, how are we going to crawl up their ass the second that they miss a scheduled live? How are we going to not give them space? How are we going to send randos to their home to do internet research? I mean, that would terrify me. Wouldn't it terrify you? Wouldn't it, you know, how would that make you feel? We have to put ourselves in their shoes, in putting yourself in anyone's shoes as much as possible, to kind of see that perspective, to see what's going on, to see the world a little bit differently. We have to be able to do that rather than just hanging on their words and thinking of these people as our personal little trauma zoo. They're not our dancing monkeys. They're not there for us to gawk at. They're sharing their experiences and sometimes sharing really serious personal shit. But they're sharing those things of their own volition, and what they don't share is as important. Some people choose to have P.O. boxes. They'll put email addresses, Venmo, PayPal, coffee links, whatever. They've got merch stores. They'll do all kinds of shit. Other people, you know, Doug has a buy me a coffee. That's as much as he's done to monetize his channel. He's got a buy me a coffee link. And he doesn't put his address out there. He doesn't have a P.O. box. I bought him a stupid gift. I asked for his address and I said, you know, I'd like to send you this stupid little gift that I got. No pressure. He said, I'm not really comfortable sharing my address. I said, that is fine. Because I'm respecting a boundary. He set that boundary. I said, no problem. That's cool. And no more was said about it. So when I found out yesterday that people were calling the cops when we already know, when Doug has done multiple videos on how the LAPD has been safe pointed by Scientology, when people were calling psych wards, what the fuck? People were calling psychiatric holding facilities. Also, P.S., HIPAA is a thing. So if you call a psychiatric holding facility and you start asking for information about somebody who may or may not be there, they can't confirm or deny jack shit. Nor should they, FYI, because it's none of your business. It just isn't. So, whatever Doug wants to share, let him share it. Because that's really what it comes down to. It's his personal choice. He chooses what to share. He creates his content in accordance with what he feels like is going to be good information to disseminate, necessary information to disseminate. And he does this not only to kind of unload for his own self, and it gives him an opportunity to get some of his experiences out into the world, but also as a way to arm us against any future possible indoctrination attempts that we might be going through. And there are a lot of creators who do the same thing, who are giving that information out. Maybe they're trying to find loved ones who are still in. Maybe they're just processing their own trauma. Maybe they're trying to help people who are still in, who are just kind of peeking out of the bubble and see that there's life on the other side. But if you take all the information for what it is, it's ways to help protect all of us. It's ways for all of us to help protect ourselves. So they are performing a public service in a way, and we should be grateful for that. Instead of being grateful, we're forming our own little cults, our own little fanaticisms. I had said last week, or earlier this week, rather, that Doug didn't want a fan club. He doesn't want to be seen as a leader. He doesn't want to be seen as anyone's guru. And somebody took exception to that. But I'm going to stand by it. And I don't care if you take exception to it, because I've spoken with Doug about it. He doesn't want to be anybody's guru. He doesn't want blind followers. He wants to share information. And that's what he has been doing. He wants to collaborate with people. He wants to learn. He wants to grow. And that's what he's been doing. And we have to analyze. I mean, parasocial relationship really is the phrase of the month, the year, maybe, because we really need to analyze our relationship with creators. You see them all the time. You've been in their chat since whenever, since they only had 3 little people watching them or whatever. Okay, great. Good for you. You've earned a cookie. I'm happy for you. I'm really glad that you've been supporting the channel for that long. It doesn't get you any privileges. It doesn't get you anything extra that he doesn't want to give. It doesn't give you the right to barge into his life, to look up his information on the internet, to call the LAPD and check arrest records, to call psych wards. You don't get any of that. That's not your right. he's allowed to take some time when he needs it. And again, maybe something happened with his mom. Something happened with my mom. I would drop everything, and I don't care what I had scheduled. No show? Fine, whatever. Don't care. I would go to be with whatever family member it was. And I can say this with certainty because I did that for my sister last year. I dropped everything. I dropped my entire life, basically, and went to Florida. If I had had live YouTube chats scheduled at the time, I didn't. But had I? Don't care. Don't care. Doctor's appointments? Didn't make them. Didn't show up. Reschedule me for sometime next year. I have no idea how long I'm going to be out of town. That's just how it goes. Maybe he needed a vacation. Maybe he needed a break. Maybe he fucked off into the woods. Maybe, as I posited that night, he went with Nasty Nathaniel, who's normally in the chat before anybody gets there, and is telling Doug what a legendary SP he was. Nasty Nathaniel wasn't there that night. So maybe the two of them got together for margaritas and tacos at a tiki bar. Doug lost track of time, got back, saw what kind of madness was happening in the chat, and was like, yeah, let me not. It's possible. And there's been so much kerfuffle going on that people, I wouldn't blame him for stepping back from that at all. Hey, Philosophy, how you doing? Kia ora. And I kind of don't want to be there when he reads all the shit that happened in his chat when he gets back. That's not going to be a fun day for him. Because he's going to see the invasive lengths that people went to. I called him. I left a voicemail. I called a couple more times in case he was sleeping. Maybe I thought, if I blow up his phone a little bit, maybe he'll wake up. But then I stopped. Left him a message on Facebook Messenger. And that's all I did. I tried to call the next day. Left him a voicemail. One voicemail. People were saying, oh, his voicemail's full. No, it wasn't. Oh, his phone got shut off. No, it didn't. Because the greeting would have been significantly different if his phone service wasn't working or had been shut off. So his phone service wasn't shut off. His voicemail box wasn't full. I did what I could. And I reached out to try to contact a couple of people that knew him personally so that if somebody did go knock on his door, it would be somebody that he knows, as opposed to some rando from the internet, which is what we all are. We are randos from the internet. Hey, pup groomer. That's all we are. We're randos on the internet. We don't know him. We don't have a personal relationship with him. I've talked to him on the phone, and I still don't consider that I have a personal relationship with him. He is a kind-hearted, empathetic man who has been through some shit, and he is also very friendly. He's very nice. He refers to everybody as friend and brother and, all of that stuff. That's how he rolls. But don't think for a second that gets you anything. It doesn't get you cookies. It doesn't get you the ability to show up at his door, to look up his information on the internet, to invade his privacy. It doesn't get you any of that shit. It gets you a kind greeting. Rando on the internet. That's what we all are. There were people in the chat yesterday, and you know who you are. I'm not going to name names. I don't have to, because a lot of us saw it. And we know who you are too. Who were trying to triangulate the mods against each other. Didn't work, by the way. Nice try. Who were telling everyone to shush. Who were saying that anything that they didn't agree with was trolls. And who were saying that they were responding to everything with, "We love Doug." Okay, that's creepy. That's creepy. It's creepy. Pup Groomer, what did you miss? Oh, Lord. What you missed was people being really creepy in Doug's chat that still existed. It still exists now. It's still there. And all the things that they did overstepping boundaries to try and find Doug. Because apparently they have some claim on him. They don't, but they thought they did. They probably still think they do. And so they called psych wards looking for him. They called other hospitals in the area looking for him. They were checking arrest records. They called the non-emergency LAPD line. They tried to have a wellness check. They were hunting down his address. Creepy. Creepy. Order of protection, creepy. Stalker, creepy. Not cool. Yeah, and that's what was happening. Yeah, Sophie. I mean, I love Doug, but that shit got crazy. I was trying to chill it out, but it was mental. It absolutely was mental. It was completely mental. And the fingers in our ears, la, 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 I can't hear you. We love Doug. We love Doug. What the fuck? Yeah. It's childish behavior, and it's fanatical behavior. It's erotomania behavior. It's the behavior of people who feel as though they have a significant relationship with a person on their computer screen or on their phone that they do not. Do you get hidden messages from him too? Every time he wears a certain hat, that's a little message for you. Do you get that? Because if you do, you want to take a step back. He's not sending you messages. He doesn't want people to hunt him down. If he's disappeared for a few days, he's disappeared for a few days. And as a grown-ass adult, he's allowed to do that. I mean, I'm a travel advisor. I know people need vacations. Most of them tend to plan them a little bit more in advance. But, hey, you know what? The man does what the man's going to do. And who am I to begrudge him that? He's been covering child trafficking, controlled opposition, twin flames. He's been covering all kinds of shit this week. All of it really heavy. Can you blame him if he needed to go out and touch grass for a few days? I hope he went up to Big Bear or out to the beach or something. Maybe he's communing with his surfboard. Maybe he's sitting in a yurt somewhere, stoned out of his mind, or on peyote, or contemplating his navel, or underwater basket weaving. Don't care. If we're going to hold space, we got to give him space. And people aren't doing that. Yeah. Oh, but they had the best intentions. They were just concerned. Guess what? I'm concerned too. I'm always concerned when a friend of mine drops off the radar. But you know what? I've noticed that it's kind of a pattern with Doug. He gets busy. He's got a life, he's got a job, he's got family, he's got all kinds of other shit that he does. And so I don't hear from him for days at a time. And then he'll catch up on all the messages and he'll leave me a message in response and everything's good. We're all fine. He doesn't have to prioritize the relationship of randos from the internet. And we are all randos from the internet. He don't know his shit. Philosophy says, at one point I said, if Doug sees this, he's never going to come back. Yeah. Marisa Diane Edix said in her video today, which is excellent, and I'll link it in the description box below if I can figure out how to do that. I have no idea what I'm doing with this. Marisa said that when he gets back and he sees all this shit, because here's the thing, mods can only go back like 100 messages in the chat, but the actual creator can read everything. And when he sees that shit, she's of the opinion that he's going to shut everything down for 2 or 3 weeks. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. Just like I don't blame him for not taking his hair down on camera. Let the man have his man bun. Let him conceal himself a little bit. So that maybe if people walking down the street in LA see him, they're not going to immediately run up to him. If we were in Kansas City and we ran up to Reese and we're like, oh my God, Reese, it's me. It's Chow Yun Smut. Hi, how are you doing? Holy crap, I saw you in the wild. Reese herself has said, that's amazing. Give me a hug. What are you doing? Do you want to go shopping? Let's go get cheese enchiladas. And that's how Reese rolls. Reese also talks about her flaps. Reese doesn't have a whole lot of boundaries, and she has stated that numerous times. Doug's got boundaries. Doug likes his privacy. And there's no reason that he shouldn't. As a human, he's allowed to have that. And the fact that people are choosing to invade that really bothers me. Like I said, yeah, I contacted Mitch. Didn't hear anything back. I tried to put something in Mitch's chat. That was ignored. Simon from Borderline Watt said that he tried to put something in his chat and his comments were deleted. So I don't fucking know. I don't know what's up with Mitch, but I know that Mitch has been over to Doug's house. He knows where Doug lives. And so at least it would have been a friendly face and not the cops banging on his door, which is terrifying, or a rando from the internet, which is even more terrifying. I contacted one other person who I thought could get in touch with Laura, and another person that I spoke with who said that she was going to speak with Laura because rumor has it that Laura has been to Doug's place. Again, friendly face. Friendly face. That's it. I wanted it to be a friendly face. But people who were, I'm sorry, but it just doesn't say good things about how you view a person when your first instinct is to check arrest records and psych wards. I'm just saying. That's messed up. Arrest records, psych wards, he didn't pay his bills. That must be the problem. What was the other thing? Arrest records, psych wards. He didn't pay his bills. There was another thing, too, that people were jumping to conclusions about. And that's... What does that say about how you view the person that you say that you're so concerned about? You think that they're financially unstable. You think that they're mentally unstable. You think that they are perhaps criminally unstable. What does it say that that's the first place you go? And what does it say that you choose to invade his privacy by looking up his information on the internet and trying to hunt down his address on your own? That's fucked up. Pup Groomer says everyone was worried about Denver because he has a port for his dialysis. Totally different story when he went MIA. Yeah, sure. That makes sense. That absolutely makes sense. Nobody had any reason to really freak out about Alex. Alex is known to be awake for days. And then, when you're awake for that long, you crash for an equally long time. It just happens. The fact that he had police pounding on his door was mortifying to me as well. Philosophy, you got to go. You agree with Marisa and with what I just said. The man deserves his privacy, and we don't really know him, though he makes us feel like our friends. We are randos on the internet. That's who we are. And no amount of watching his videos is going to change that. Like, if you really miss your fix of Doug and you really needed to get a Doug fix, he has literal weeks and weeks and weeks of material on his YouTube channel that you can watch. Maybe go back and watch some of the HG Tutor stuff and learn a thing about psychology and about your relationship with the world and how you relate to other people. Maybe watch some of his other videos. Maybe watch some of his videos talking about how Scientology safe pointed the LAPD. Maybe learn a thing about that and reflect on why perhaps calling the LAPD was a really poor idea. Maybe go review HIPAA and the laws, the privacy laws in this country, and how they're especially stringent when it comes to behavioral health and psychological health. Maybe. People went way too far in the name of concern. I'm concerned too. But the situation is not going to change just because I'm concerned. And my concern doesn't change the fact that he is a grown adult who will do what he wants and should be able to do what he wants when he wants to do it. I'm not going to call the LAPD and lie to them and say that he missed an appointment with me. That's bullshit. He does what he wants. He's grown. And people use concern to excuse a lot of really shitty behavior. They use it to excuse body shaming. She's too skinny. She needs to eat a sandwich. Wow, rude. Well, I'm just concerned for her health. She's too fat. She really needs to eat a salad. How dare she eat food in public? Wow. Rude. I'm just concerned for her health. We haven't heard from Doug for a while. Let's call the psych ward. Wow. Rude. Well, I'm just concerned. Stop it. And then when they were behaving with all of that childish nonsense in the chat yesterday, I mean, shit went full on Lord of the Flies. And it's not cool. It's double plus uncool. The way that people were just, they were attacking Marisa. Apparently Steve Mango was in there and they were attacking him. And yeah, it is my favorite finger. It really is, Pup Groomer. They're attacking anybody who didn't agree with what they had to say. Like, you know, oh, this isn't like him. You know him from the internet. Oh, it's not like him to not make a live. I agree that it's a little bit out of my experience with him, but I've also seen him reschedule things at the last minute. I've also seen him say, you know, 20 minutes before we were supposed to go live, you know what? Nope, not doing it. I'll do it next week. Not happening. And that's his right. So when I mentioned the possibility that he just, you know, went out for snacks and drinks with somebody else that he's actually been promising to go out and grab a bite with for quite some time publicly on his channel, I got shut down for it by one of these people. Calm down. Or who is it? Ludacris? I think it's Luda. It says, step back, motherfucker. Y'all don't know me like that. And it's the truth. None of us knows Doug like that. You know who knows Doug like that? Marisa and Steve Mango. And if they're not flipping out, y'all need to calm down. Have several seats. Several of them. Because the behavior that I saw yesterday, people talking about, oh, well, you're only blah, blah, blah years old. I'm so-and-so years old. Who gives a fuck? If you're behaving like you're 7, then your chronological age doesn't really matter, does it? If your fingers in your ears, la, 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 we love Doug. We love Doug. And that's all they would type in response to anything for a little while. That's mature, huh? And then telling everybody to shoosh. Oh, shoosh. I don't care that you're a mod. Shoosh. Both. Absolutely ridiculous. Why the psych wards? Do they really think that lowly of him? Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. They went to the psych wards and the arrest records. Those are the first 2 places that they went. And then it was saying, oh, well, he can't, he must not have paid his bill. His phone and internet got cut off. I don't know about his internet, but I know his phone didn't get shut off. They were saying, oh, his voicemail box is full. No, it wasn't. Not as of yesterday afternoon. Because if it was, I wouldn't have been able to leave the voicemail message that I left on his phone. Hey, love it. Hey, Kim. So, yeah, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Who the fuck called the cops? Oh, honey, people stayed on his channel for more than 24 hours. Some of them are still there. As a matter of fact, let me look. Let's take a peek. Okay. Kim Kim D. Hi. Yeah. Rocking it out with Kim. She's there, and I guess I'm there. It says there's only 2 waiting now, but they were there as of this afternoon. I think they've finally gotten it through their skulls that it wasn't going to happen. And, so I don't know who called the cops. I didn't scroll back that far, but I did see that it had happened. And I saw that they were calling hospitals and psych wards. And that sent me over the edge. That burned my onion something serious, because I mean, way to really, really try to violate somebody's friggin' privacy. Number one, way to show that you hold them in that kind of esteem. Number two, that you think that they're so mentally unstable that that's the first place you're going to go. I mean, what? Why? And then just everybody's trolls, everybody's shoosh. We love Doug. We love Doug. We love Doug. Okay, but you know what? Go chant somewhere else, because that is going to do nothing but creep him the fuck out. And I don't blame him for being creeped out. I was creeped out, and I'm not Doug. Yeah. Oh, well, you never went into the chat the next day. You're lucky. Went to his page to see it was still there, still waiting. Never went into the chat. No, it was... Oh, Kim, I logged in the next morning and saw the chat was going a little crazy. A little crazy? Yeah, I called it Lord of the Flies. It went full on Lord of the Flies. And it was gross. Yeah, I was much happier that night talking about how I ate shit in front of the one of the most graceful human beings on the planet. Much happier to embarrass myself in front of 15 strangers, randos on the internet, than be involved in that mishigas. And unfortunately, I'm even more mortified about the way that they behave now, and it was disgusting. It was really disgusting. The shit that went on there yesterday was disgusting. It was disrespectful. It was creepy. And if I were Doug, I'd be doing some reverse lookups and getting OFPs. Because no, you don't do that. You don't do that to people. You got to let this guy have his life. You got to let him live his life. And you got to let him process. He gonna process. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with him taking some time. There's nothing wrong with him deciding that he's just not going to go on. Because again, not a dancing monkey. None of the people on the internet are dancing monkeys. They're not here for your pleasure. They don't really live inside your computer. If you break open your computer, all the peoples aren't going to fall out. And again, if we're going to hold space for them, we have to be able to also give them space. And that's really the big message. We got to be able to give these people space. We have no reason to think that he was anywhere near the edge mentally. We have no reason to think that he would have been arrested or was in some, committing some sort of criminal violation. We have no reason to believe any of that. We have no reason to believe that he can't pay his bills. He works a job. He has a job, guys. YouTube isn't his life. And even if he was making enough off of the buy me a coffee to quit his job, he's had that job for a long time. He seems to like it. So I don't think he would quit his job. And I don't think that he would do this YouTube shit full time, because it takes a lot. And especially as an extremely empathetic person that he is, I imagine it's got to be draining. Yes, there's a level of healing there too, but I imagine it's got to be draining. And I wouldn't want to do that shit full time. I expose myself to all kinds of horrors all over the internet. Yeah, I watch murder shows. I watch cult shows. I watch all kinds of YouTube content that's high demand religion, coercive control groups, all kinds of stuff. People who've escaped cults to consciousness, Jordan and McKay, Fundy Fridays. I watch a lot of stuff, but you know what? I take breaks, and I watch a lot of other shit too. I watch Apollo and Friends. It's an African gray parrot, 2 white-bellied caiques, and they're 2 humans that live in Florida. I watch little adorable little burbs push tiny shopping carts in exchange for a little piece of walnut, and they're very happy to do so. They're adorable. The lady picks up one of the birds like a phone. Hello, hello. It's super cute. And they do a live stream on Saturdays. And I'll sit and watch burbs for 2-3 hours. You know? Just blows my mind that the first place they went was jail and the psych wards. I can't get past that. Yeah, I can't either. That really sticks in my craw. I'm messed up about it. Cause, you know, if that's what you think of the guy, why are you still watching? Are you waiting for a train wreck? I just hope those peeps don't keep him for giving us great content. Yeah, I hope so too. The good news is that he's already aware that one of the people who was involved in that fuckery, he already knows that one of those people can be a bit much. And when others have said, yeah, I just can't even with this person anymore, I've blocked them, he's like, yeah, I get it. So that's cool. I don't think he's going to be surprised by the people who were behaving that way, but I think that he might, well, by all of the people who were behaving that way. There might be some surprises in there for him, but I think he is going to be surprised that the extremes that they went to violate his privacy and overstep their boundaries in a really, really big way. Yeah, absolutely. If I need a break from the deep stuff, you've got puppies. Hey, I love puppies. I love puppies. I will totally go and watch puppies on your channel. I watch live streams of kitten cams. I watch live streams at the Monterey Zoo so I can watch penguins and otters and all sorts of cool stuff. I'll spend time doing that because it gives my fevered little brain mates a break. And we all need a break. Kim follows an Alaskan Malamute named Key. Cute. I can get behind that. I mean, we were all worried, but come on. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I'm concerned. Sure. But no, this is too much. It's too much. It's gone too far. And we really need to examine the depth of the parasocial relationship. We need to examine why we feel like we can expect Doug to move past his own comfort zones for our viewing pleasure. And some of us really need to look at boundaries and what they are and why they are. It's the behavior that I saw yesterday in his chat was gross. And again, I stuck by the guidelines that he set out for me. If I was going to swing a wrench on his channel, he gave me the wrench and he said, here's my guidelines. And I stuck by him. So I didn't boot, I didn't mute, I didn't time out, I didn't do any of that shit. From what I understand, Wendy had to, Outback Wendell's had to do a little removing of comments. And she warned people ahead of time. She didn't name names, but she said, listen, if this keeps up, I will remove comments. Knock it off. Be big kids. And they chose not to knock it off. And so Wendell's was removing some comments. And I don't blame her. I don't blame her for it at all. As far as it goes, one of the people who was behaving poorly yesterday was in my chat the night before. She challenged me on some stuff. I asked her how I could do better. She chose not to reply. I will say that Doug's chat, Doug's rules. My chat, my rules. I don't have any mods. I have 38 subscribers. I don't need any fucking mods. You know, there's 5 people in here now. I'm not sweating it real hard. But somebody decides that they're going to come in here and start talking shit. I don't have any problem swinging a band hammer. I also don't have any problem putting them on blast before I swing the band hammer. If you're going to embarrass yourself in the chat, I'll embarrass you on screen. That's fine. Be a child. Show the world. If you're proud enough to do it in a chat, you're proud enough to be put on screen for it. So, you know. Anyway, I don't know how you missed it, love it. But, yeah, that's what happened. That's some of the stuff that happened. And that's only some of the stuff. Wendell had to remove some comments after she gave plenty of fair warning. They were replying. They were shushing everyone, including the mods. They were attacking Marisa. They were attacking Steve, Mango. And they were telling everybody who didn't agree with them that they were trolls. And so I came into the chat and everybody's like, oh my God, you're here. Maybe the trolls will go away now. Can you do something? Can you do something about the trolls? The trolley trolls? I didn't see any trolls except them. I didn't see anybody spamming the chat with the same stupid message but them. I saw them replying to everything with either shush or we love Doug. Creepy. Creepy. Childish. Yeah. Gross. Kim, I was a fangirl in the 70s of Tony DeFranco. The cardboard fan club record on the back of the cereal box spoke to you. Oh, bless. I was a fangirl in the 70s too. When I was very young. And I was obsessed with Peter Criss from Kiss. I had his Face album. I loved him. Loved him. I was 6 years old, 7 years old. I didn't know anything about Kiss's music. The fuck? I don't know what to tell you. But I loved them. And I would talk to the album. I'm a K-pop fangirl now. Made a sweater for one of my biases. But I'm not getting secret messages from any of them. All right. I'm really sorry, Love It, because I caught the typo. I love Marisa and Steve. I've been watching him suck. He started 10 years ago. I realize that you meant to say you've been watching him since he started 10 years ago, but that really is a fantastic autocorrect, you got to say. That was a beautiful, beautiful autocorrect own. I fucking love autocorrect. My mom has had some really, really fascinating experiences with autocorrect. She tried to tell me once that she had a tear duct infection, and her phone told me that she had a test fuck infection. Neither one of us knows what that is, but I'm pretty sure there's a topical cream you can get for it. Yeah, I like Marisa and Steve too. I'm a fan, but I'm not a rabid fan. I appreciate their work, and I appreciate what they're willing to share with us. But I also appreciate what they're not willing to share with us. I appreciate the fact that Steve has ongoing health issues and that he's got mental health issues. That means that sometimes he doesn't want to get on camera. Guess what? I don't want to get on camera either. And this is only like, the fourth total time that I've done it, maybe, second on my own. First on my own was friggin' Monday night. I have no idea what I'm doing. But I feel like somebody's got to stand up. And maybe somebody here in the Nevering community has got to pipe up and say, we're not all fucking bonkers. And we don't all appreciate the way that some of these other people are representing us. Oh, my hoodie is super cozy. Super cozy. And it's from Come and Go, which makes me laugh. Because that's an actual thing in the Midwest I love it. I love it. It's a chain of gas station convenience stores, and they're called Come and Go, and it makes me laugh so fucking hard because I have this sense of humor of a 12-year-old boy. So, yeah, no, it's a big, massive hoodie from an amusingly named place, and I'm here for it. But, it's like T-shirts, amusing named places, places that are kind of inappropriate. The shirt I'm wearing underneath this is from a pho restaurant in Key West called Pho King Awesome. Noodle and sake bar in Key West. Pho King Awesome. That's my life. That's those are the T-shirts that I wear. I wear inappropriate shit, and because it makes me laugh, and life is way too short to not laugh. Whoever owns Come and Go has a great sense of humor. Yeah, and they've been rocking it. And here's something funny. When they first started selling hard-boiled eggs in little blister packs in convenience stores here in the States, you could get 2 of them in a little blister pack, and they were marketed under the name Kraken snack. I'm not kidding. You could get Kraken snack at the Come and Go. This shit writes itself. There was also convenience store gas station combos down in the Twin Cities called Pump and Munch. And you could get Kraken snack at the Pump and Munch. That's fucking comedy right there. It just is. It makes me laugh because I'm 12. So, yeah, that's just kind of how we do here. We laugh. We laugh at inappropriate shit. We give the middle finger to all the things that say that we have to be serious all the time. I have to. I have no other choice because it's either laugh or I start screaming and I can't stop. Or I start crying and I can't stop. And you'll find me curled up in a ball in the corner, likely in the corner of a dressing room, tangled up in my own bra because I can't figure out how to work a over-the-head sports bra. Had that conversation in a Victoria's Secret. We already know what my coordination is like non-existent. So anyway, yeah, totally veered off topic. But yeah, what it comes down to is not all the never-ends are crazy. Not all the ex-Scientologists are crazy. I know a couple of them who were in the chat yesterday who were contributing to the heinous fuckery most foul. And from what I understand, they're ex-Scientologists. I'm not going to paint all ex-Scientologists with the same brush. I'm not going to paint all the never-ends with the same brush. We're not all bonkers. We're not all out here stomping all over people's privacy and boundaries and everything else. And some of us are absolutely mortified at what people were doing in the name of concern yesterday. And I think it says a lot more about how they view Doug. Their actions say a lot more about how they view Doug than their words do. They can say, we love Doug, we love Doug, we love Doug. I think they're obsessed with Doug. Mildly or severely, take your pick. But clearly they don't think a whole lot about his stability. If the first place that they're calling are psych wards and the cops to check the arrest records. Doesn't say a whole lot about the type of esteem in which they hold him. And that's fucked up. And the fact that they're willing to completely ignore all of his boundaries just so that maybe they can get an idea of where he lives and go knock on his door. Wouldn't that be a thrill? Can you imagine what would have happened if they had found him on the floor in his apartment? Like, they'd be fucking heroes, wouldn't they? Gross. It's little Munchausen's by proxy, don't you think? It's giving real strong OFP vibes. And that's how I feel about it. So, yeah, I don't know how the hell that was their first conclusion. How someone would think cops and psych ward. It is bizarre. It's real bizarre. And it's gross. It's gross. I agree, and I think it's partly because of the boundaries he's put in place, and he's put them in place for good reason. Clearly. I mean, that's been illustrated, if nothing else, over the last couple of days. Let the man have his boundaries. For fuck's sake. OFP. What is OFP? Order for protection, otherwise known as a restraining order. That's what an OFP is. And honestly, if I were Doug, I'd be a little bit scared. And it makes me feel awful to say that because I don't want anybody to feel terrified, especially after the shit that he's gone through. He doesn't need it. He doesn't deserve it. And yet, after seeing that, I don't know. I can't speak for the man. I can say how I would react to it. And I would be pissed and I would be horrified. Absolutely horrified. And I would be very, very cautious about anything that I said online from that moment forward. A girl is asking, hi, Chow, I'm late to your show, but did you get an update? No, I did not. No, I did not. And I haven't called him today. I imagine he's been getting a barrage of calls and messages and everything else. I know that Mango tried to get in touch with him. I don't know whether or not Marisa tried to get in touch with him, but I have not gotten an update. And all I can say right now is that I hope he's out somewhere, either surfing his ass off or hanging out in the woods, just contemplating his navel. That's really what I hope. Because I hope he's taking some time off to touch grass or touch sand or sit in a yurt somewhere and smoke weed. I am concerned, yes, but my level of concern has dropped considerably after hearing from Mango and from Marisa today. And from a conversation that I had last night with somebody else who has been speaking with people who say that, you know what, sometimes he just does this. So, yeah. You're welcome. I'm happy to try. You know, there's not a whole lot that I can do. Because again, I'm a rando on the internet. And I know that you got here late, but that's really one of the things that I was trying to. I don't know, a girl, if you were aware of some of the hijinks and shenanigans that people were getting up to yesterday, but it got really obnoxious and it got really gross and it got really kind of frightening. And he is already very cautious. I don't know how much more cautious he can be, but you can bet that he's gonna find out. Gonna try. Yeah, our hearts are with him. I hope that he's okay, and I hope that he's just doing some processing. If I were him, I'd hide forever. No shitting. Oh, wait, on which channel or in general? Mainly it happened in the chat on his channel. The chat from the Monday night live that never happened. It kept going even through today. And it's not good. It's not good. People took the liberty of calling the LAPD and lying to them, saying that he missed an appointment with them and wanting to see if they could get a wellness check. They were trying to find his address online. They were calling psych wards and checking arrest records. Yeah, that's the kind of shit that they were doing. And they were trying to look up his address to see if they could find him and go knock on his fucking door. That's what they were doing. Yeah. And when Marisa and Steve Mango were both in his chat yesterday afternoon watching all of this and trying to talk people off the ledge, they went in and attacked those two. It is fucking crazy. I agree with you. It's completely bonkers and it's totally uncalled for. And it's just, it's rude and it's gross. So, I don't know. I don't want to be in his shoes when he sees all that shit, when he reads all that shit. If he chooses to read all that shit, I'm sure he's going to get a full report because when he comes back to civilization and decides to start interacting with the world again, he's going to be inundated with messages. So I started off this stream talking about putting yourself in other people's shoes, you know, getting some different perspective. That's really my big thing, is that if a whole bunch of people that you knew were meeting up for lunch and you said, sure, I'll be there, and you forget, or you sleep through it, or something comes up in your life, or you just decide that you want to take a road trip or just get out of town for a couple days, or hide under your bed for a couple days, or just not for a couple of days. That's totally your right. But if you skipped out on that lunch with a whole bunch of random people that are, you know, casual acquaintances, and 12 hours, 16 hours later, they decided that their first step was to call psych wards and check the arrest records, how would that make you feel? That's messed up. That would make me feel pretty messed up. That would make me really wonder, what have I been doing to portray that that's the kind of instability? What have I been doing to show people that if you don't hear from me in 16 hours after I missed a lunch date with some casual acquaintances, that the first place they go are psych wards and arrest records? What the fuck? You know, people talk about how they're concerned for Doug, they're worried about Doug, they respect Doug. No, that's not respect. That's obsession. And it's gross. It's not concern. It's imposing your will on somebody else. And it's treating people who are giving of themselves so freely and so much as dancing monkeys. They're your own little private trauma zoo. And that's not cool. It's extra not cool. So I'd definitely isolate from others if I was being weirdly attacked like that. Doug has never acted unstable, but different levels of people leaving cults still do cult tactics too. Yep, they sure do. And I know that at least two of the people who were pulling that bullshit yesterday are exes. They're former Scientologists as well. Or they claim to be. And their tactics We're culty as fuck. And I just have to call it for what it is. It's culty, and it's creepy, and it's really, really unacceptable behavior from grown-ass adults toward another grown-ass adult. So cops won't even take a missing person report until 72 hours unless extenuating evidence shows faster interventions are needed, or if it's a child. If it's a child, that's different. If it's somebody under the age of 18, that's different. But if it's a grown-ass person, an entire adult, yeah, they're not gonna act on it because, oh no, somebody didn't show up for a YouTube. Somebody missed an appointment. So yeah, it's ridiculous the lengths that people went to and the first options that they chose are they're just gross. I don't even want to say offensive. That's one word that comes to mind, but everybody's like, "Oh, so many people are offended by everything these days. We can't have pancake mix anymore." Whatever. The way that these people were behaving was offensive to me, and it was gross, and it was creepy. And I'm just not about that life. You're a never been. Do not talk much. Well, welcome. And I like the kitty cat in your profile photo. But you sure like Doug. He's taught you a lot and makes you laugh. Yeah, he makes all of us laugh. And we are learning at the same time. And it's what I was saying before, man. If we can't laugh, we're going to lose our minds. Collectively, we are going to go completely friggin' bonkers. And you know, we gotta laugh. And Doug is a funny motherfucker sometimes. He really is. I mean, the first time I ever broke the fourth wall and emailed him was because I laughed so hard at one of his videos that I came perilously close to wetting my pants. And so I had to send him an email and tell him about it because I'm like, bro, seriously, your comedic timing with this and the edits that you put in and just your delivery, chef's kiss. Perfect. Almost wet my pants. Do not have a laundry bill to send you, but just barely. We got to talking, you know, but we gotta laugh. We gotta, and we gotta not be creepy and get all up in everybody's business when it's none of ours. It's none of ours. We don't need to run around with our hair on fire because Doug is being an adult and exercising his freedoms as an adult. We just can't. It is abusive to act like he needs any help. He can tell the channel to kick rocks like, what if he had a migraine? People should back way off. Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Aw, Bob. Bob is his name. Hi, Bob. Or is it a her? I don't know. I shouldn't make that assumption. Hello, Bob. Very nice to meet you, Bob. That's the name of the kitty. Bobcat. Cutie pants. Freewin's video had you rolling on the floor. We had a good time. He said he was considering doing a part 2. I will do my best not to get completely friggin' hammered during the first hour and a half of that so that I can be coherent for the last part of it. I went pretty hard, but I had also, to my chagrin, I had no idea that we were going to be going for 3 hours. So, there's that. But yeah, I just we gotta laugh. We gotta laugh, and we gotta let people be who they are. We gotta let people be who they are. I like a lot of the content creators, but have never considered their scheduled a personal appointment. Right? What the precise Galactica actual fuck are we talking about? When I mean, yeah, they called the LAPD and said he missed an appointment with me. Seriously? Are you kidding? It's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers. So I don't understand it. I don't understand why people behave the way that they do, and I may never understand it. I don't like it, and I'm willing to call it out when I see it. You know, when somebody tried to call me out on my words on Monday night, I was willing to take that feedback and try to do better. And they chose not to give me that feedback. They chose to continue sniping, but they chose not to give me any of that feedback. So, you know, normally I'm of the mind that if you don't have anything nice to say, come sit next to me. But, you know, in that case, if you can't be constructive with your criticism, do something else with your hands. You don't need to tell me about it. If you're just going to bitch and you're not going to give me any kind of suggestions or constructive feedback, I'm not interested. And again, you know, a flounce is something for the bottom of a bed, and an airport is where departures are announced. We don't need flounces, and this ain't an airport. So, you know, you don't like what I'm saying? You're welcome to go bye-byes. You don't even have to tell me about it. I'm not going to be hurt. I'm always looking to try to be a better person. I don't ever wish to upset people or make them feel as though they are not seen, or make them feel as though they are unsafe. But by the same token, fuck up out of here with that nonsense. So, yeah, LAPD, the psychos who are in bed with Scientology. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I literally have smut in my name. Yeah, that's true. So, you know, if you're already faint of heart, if you are pearl clutching, if that's your jam, bye. Go away. Because I never went to finishing school. I don't know how to peel a peach with a knife and fork. I'm not a delicate flower. It's not how I roll. I spit the truth as I see it. I'm not here to lie to anybody, but I'm also not here to blow smoke up people's asses. And clearly, it's not like I even have enough subscribers that I could monetize this shit if I wanted to. So super chats aren't an issue. It's fine. I don't need that kind of pressure in my life. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you to all of you who've joined my TED Talk, whatever it is. I've been blathering now for an hour and a half, and I wasn't expecting to do so. But then again, I also wasn't expecting anybody to show up. So I'm glad y'all did. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'm going to make myself something to eat and watch some bullshit on the internet. And hopefully things calm down. People extinguish their hairdos. People stop committing really gross boundary oversteps and put their manners back in. Before Doug gets back. It's not even, I'm going to tell Dad. Guys, yeah. It's just more of a, I really don't want to be him when he reads through that chat. I really don't. And I feel for him when he does. Because that's not going to be a fun day for him. And I hope that he has a lot of really potent weed on hand when he does. Because he's going to need to be high as a giraffe's asshole to read through all that shit. Off topic again. We're all over the map here. You love my purple hair. It's purple and it's blue and it's teal. There's some red in there. I got like 6 different colors. There's the red and 8 months worth of regrowth, and the teal is bleaching out underneath. And yeah, I have 6 different colors this time. 6 different colors. But it's fun. I play hair color Darwinism with it. I basically just wander into the bathroom with a podcast on, grab a whole pile of colors and grab, I'll slap some onto part of it and decide on the fly what's going to look good next to that, and then what's going to look good next to that. And then I wrap my head in a bag. This is not a toy. Wrap my head in a plastic bag, and I sleep on it for 8 hours. Rinse it out in the morning. Let them fight it out on my head without getting it all over my pillowcases, which are black anyway because, well, yeah. Oh, nice. Yours is dark purple too, Pup Groomer. He does. They did expose themselves. And he has a gold mine of hasslery and proof. Yeah, he'd do. You don't need to announce that you're leaving, but I'm glad that you did, because you're not leaving in a huff. You're not flouncing. You're not being a flounce. You're not being a couch ruffle. Have a good night, Kim. Thank you for hanging out. You kind of wish you knew who, but you think seeing it would scare you? Yeah. Are we friends on Facebook? Love it. Are you on the Discord? I don't know. I can tell you. It's easy enough. You don't need to read through it just to know who it was. But I also kind of doubt that you'd be surprised at all when you saw who it was. Yeah, he's not a blocky kind of guy. But he might make exceptions. Were I him, I would. But I'm not him, and I can't speak for him. And I refuse to speak for him. I am, as I told Outback Wendell's yesterday, I'm never going to get a job with the UN. I think I've used up all of the diplomacy that I have in my life, that I was born with. So yeah, there goes that career as a diplomat, I'm afraid. But yeah, you don't have fuckbook. I don't blame you. I'm on it mainly for my business because it's a good way to market myself. Well, I thought it was. I'd like to think it is. But yeah, that's I'm able to keep in touch with a lot of people that way, but it really, the only thing that I really maintain it for is to let people know that I'm not dead and that I can promote my business there on my business page. Pup groomer, you know who one of them is right now. Good for you. You probably do. I mean, it's not rocket surgery. It really isn't. If you have any kind of history in his chat at all, it's really not rocket surgery. Levin says, I'm a blocker. Another person with love it as their handle started coming on and telling you to change your handle. Bitch, please. No. You know what's funny is that there's another person in these chats whose name is Cricket, and their handle is Cricket. They spell it with 1 T. I spell it with 2. I'm waiting for the day that somebody gets us confused. Waiting for it. In this case, it may be in his best interest to block. Yeah. Sad to say, it may be. It may be. It may be in the interest of safety to block. I can think of 2 off the top of my head. 3 off the top of my... Oh, pardon me, hiccup. Off the top of my head. Did I just get a notification? Borderline what? Are you actually awake? If Simon's awake right now and he is not here on this live, I'm going to be mad. I'm sending him a message right now. I will extend this just to see. Are you actually awake? Just to see. I don't know why he would be awake. It's like 4 a.m. there. But yeah, it's and bless Simon. Bless Simon. I don't know if you follow or if you're familiar with Simon from Borderline What? Borderline what? It's got a question mark at the end of it. He is an actual gem of a human being and a delight. And he has been checking in with me consistently. He's been, seeing what's been going on in the chat. He's been just really incredibly supportive, and I appreciate him so much. So, and again, I don't agree with everything Simon posts. I don't agree with everything that Doug says, and we don't have to, because again, we're adults. But I don't feel the need to attack anybody for it. We all have our opinions. We all have our different perspectives. And that's what makes the world a beautiful, colorful place. Yeah, safety is why you would do it? Yeah, same. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, shit, you've had a stalker for 20 plus years. It's been a couple years since you've been contacted, only a couple? Ugh. People may not get how fucking scary it is. I can't even get mail where I live just in case. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Like, Doug had mentioned when I asked him for his address and he said he wasn't comfortable giving me his address. He said, I really do need to get off my ass and get a P.O. box. And I said, well, if you do that, then I can send you Christmas cards with photos of Elvira. He said, if I do that, I expect you to send me Elvira. I don't know how well she'd handle the shipping process. That's kind of a problem. Plus, my best friend would be upset if I just stole her dog and mailed her off to California. So that would be a challenge. Well, thank you, Pup Groomer. I will do my very best to remember that that's your name. I am a million different kinds of not Reese. I love her to all of her little Reese's pieces. But I'm not her. So I am not good at remembering names. As a matter of fact, I suck balls at remembering names, but I will do my best to try. That's about all I can say. Love it. As for your stalker, yeah, I mean, that's terrifying. I've had some terrifying experiences with one person who I thought was going to be a stalker. I was literally expecting to open the door some morning and find that he had nailed his ear to it. I mean, shit got bad for a while, and he had to be reminded that I have a lot of friends with a lot of swords and the knowledge to use them. And he may be a very small target, a very thin target, but he's enough to put a sword through, and he needed to back off. And eventually he did back off. I have been in an abusive relationship where I got out by the very skin of my sanity. And I was either going to wind up in a psych ward or arrested for murder. And amazingly, I did neither. Amazing, especially because of the fact that I did all the cooking and there was deadly nightshade growing in the driveway. So I've been through some shit, but having a stalker for 20 plus years, I know that it's not a trauma contest, but girl, you win. If in fact you are female, I don't even know. Again, I'm making assumptions here about gender and I shouldn't. Person, love it, you win. Because that's some terrifying shit. And even though it's been a couple of years, I imagine that that's something that you live with on the daily, all the time. And that's terrifying. It's awful, and nobody should have to live like that. And I'm really sorry that you have to live like that. And I'm really sorry that somebody thought that they could take away your agency like that, and they could just trounce all over your boundaries like that. I'm really sorry to hear that. That sucks a lot. You're a girl. Okay. I don't like to make assumptions, especially in this day and age. We never know. And I know that, as we've seen, men can be subject to this kind of thing just as much as women can. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we kind of hope that the internet will be a safe space And I say we, like I got a mouse in my pocket. I would like to think that Doug's channel is a safe space for him. And this week has proven that it's not, because people are going to pull shit like this, and that's messed up. And I would not be surprised if he does shut it down. I would be sad. I would be feeling a loss, because I think he has a lot to contribute. And he has a fascinating mind. And I like hearing what he has to say. But that would be my loss. And if that's what he has to do to get a sense of safety back, I can't blame him. Can't blame him at all. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. Pup groomer, you have 2 girls, 14 and 10. PTO ain't nothing but a piece of paper. Your girls are less likely to be victims. It is well known that they know how to shoot well. They do. You taught them. Good on you. Way to go. I don't know how to shoot. I've never held a firearm. It's probably for the best, because my aim is so bad that I couldn't hit a barn with an elephant. So, and we've already discussed my coordination, or rather lack thereof. So it's probably a good thing that, I'm not even allowed to have a taser, folks, like one of those personal tasers. Yeah, no, that's not allowed. I'm banned from that. It's a self-imposed ban, but I'm banned from that, because if I know me, and well, I've met me, I would wind up tasing my own self multiple times and would never be presented with an opportunity to use it on anyone else. So it's just best for everyone all around that I just leave that in the hall of don't. Yeah, it would be a bummer if Doug shut it down, but you wouldn't blame it at all. Yeah, neither would I. Neither would I. I wouldn't blame him. I'd be sad about it. Like I said, I would be sad, and I would feel that loss, but I would not blame him in the slightest. You've taught them how to field strip and clean them all. You take them to the range regularly. Good on you. Excellent. My mom used to be a sharpshooter when she was younger, when she was in college, I think. College, high school, something. Anyway, she was on the little team that did marksmanship, and boy, oh boy, she knocked it out of the park. And the instructor actually said, I really, really do not want to make you mad. To my mom, my tiny little mom. It was adorable. Yeah, so that's pretty awesome. But me, it's better if I stick with smaller weapons, bladed weapons. Somehow I've managed not to cut myself. I used to work for Hilt Smith. I sold swords and daggers. I helped make swords and daggers. For a while, I was shop foreman for him in the manufacturing process. And well, I always have knitting supplies with me. And those are fantastic close range weapons, but fantastic weapons nonetheless. I always have weapons on me because I always have knitting needles on me. And don't mess with a bitch who carries knitting needles. We'll put your eye out, kid. So anyway, I think you're a certified instructor for the local 4-H. You teach rifle to the kids for shooting sports. That's awesome. That's awesome. Good for you. I love it. Um, I am not, but I think if I were gonna be teaching anything, I'd like to maybe teach, like, CPR and first aid. Sorry, I had to clean off my screen. It had a speck in just the right place so that it looked like there was a schnotz hanging out of my nostril here, but there isn't a schnotz, it was just something on my screen, and so I had to remove that, pardon the wobbly screen. Um, I don't have a separate camera, I have a laptop. And more specifically, I have a Chromebook, which is basically a Fisher-Price laptop. Um, but yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, holy shitballs, guys, it's been almost 2 hours, so maybe this is one of those times where I ask myself, "Am I ever gonna stop talking?" And, I think I probably need to stop talking right about nowish. So y'all have a lovely day, evening, afternoon, whatever time it is, wherever you are. It's almost 11 o'clock at night here. I've had one stinking cup of coffee. I need to go make myself a food. Um, and hopefully, oh, you carry a Shoto Japanese pocket knife. Can even make, ooh, even make it through the airport X-ray. Now I'm jealous. Now I have knife envy. Ooh, girl. Find a way to send me a link to that shit. Pop it in the comments. Pop a link in the comments if you can. Now I want to know. I can't afford shit right now, but maybe after the holidays. That sounds sexy as hell. $7 on Amazon? Oh, hello, wish list. That's going on my wish list in a hot second. Between that and the barfing cat gravy boat that I saw somewhere else, that's on Amazon too. And I need to put that shit on my wish list because this is the kind of shit that I need in my life. A pocket knife that can make it through airport security and a gravy boat that looks like a cat throwing up. I mean, we've discussed that my sense of humor is that of a 12-year-old male. So, chat post links. Can't post links. But it's on Amazon for $7. Shoto brass pocket knife. Okay, got it. How does it not show up on airport security screening, though? That's fascinating to me. So I need to get more information on that because I travel a lot. And they take things. They took my wine opener away from me, and it had a blade literally this long. It was just a little tiny, itsy titsy serrated blade to cut the foil off of a wine bottle. It was a really good wine opener too, and they took it away from me because of that little teensy blade to cut the foil. I'm mad about it. I'm gonna be salty about that for a while. Anyway. Put it inside the rolly bag behind the inside bars. You clever girl. You clever, clever girl. I have a really fantastic rolly bag too. I love my rolly bag. Well, that sounds fantastic. I'm going to be looking that up. That and the barfing cat gravy boat. I'm here for it. I'm about it. I'm going to go find a food. You guys have a great night. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate all 7 of you. There's only like 3 of you who are talking, but that's okay. That's okay. Because you know what? If you're hiding out, I see you. And I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Have a great evening, and I will talk to y'all soon. You're helping to give me the confidence to do this on a more regular basis. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. I hope you have a great night, and, I hope that all of this blows over with as few large repercussions as possible. And I hope that Doug is able to come back to the world of the YouTubes and not be absolutely fucking terrified every time he goes live. So, have a good night, y'all. Thanks for being here. See ya.